Welcome back to Liquors. We're working on Parshas Chukas this week. Parshas Chukas is talking about Paraduma. Paraduma is a special, similar to a korban. It's not really a korban, preparation of special ash to remove the tumah of tumas mace. Tumas mace is the most chomer tumah, and Paraduma removes that tumah. So the Alshich is quoted by the Rabbi Yismach Moshe. The Alshich has a dig at the very beginning of the parsha. Pasuk says, the first pasuk, "Vayedaber Hashem al Moshe ve'el and more, lay more." First pasuk says, who is in the conversation? Moshe and Aaron equally, both. Then, if you look carefully at the Torah in the next pasuk, in the middle a little bit, daber el bnei Yisrael. It switches to singular. A minute ago it was Moshe and Aaron. Now it switches to singular, just Moshe. So it seems in the beginning here that Moshe is the subject, and Aaron here is the object. Aaron's being discussed, not being discussed with, not as a partner in conversation, but he's somehow the object. So that's what the Rebbe Yismach Moshe wants to work on. So he says, now it's possible to think that the Tumas Mace came because of the Chet HaEgel. Now Chet HaEgel, Aaron has a role. Aaron was there, they asked for the Chet HaEgel, and he put the gold into that furnace, and then they were able with Kishuv to get out a Chet HaEgel, to get out a golden calf. So he has a role there. So since he has a role there, it would seem that Aaron's the responsibility for Tumas Mace. But this is not really true, because what was Aaron's idea? Why did Aaron participate in the Chet HaEgel? So we look in Rashi also, we see that they were pretty aggressive with the sin of the golden calf. They killed Hur, Benoshel, Miriam. And Aaron says, okay, I'm going to get involved in this. Why? Because it's better that it should be the complaint against me, Aaron, and not against Klal Yisrael that's doing this Aveira. So, the Medrash says, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, that's your reasoning? So you're going to have to stay in my palace. That's the Kohen Gadol's job. The Kohen Gadol stays in the Beis HaMikdash, and therefore that's the reward he gets for his role here. So now, the Rebbe Yismach Moshe quotes, as he often does, different svarim. One of the svarim he's quoting here is a sefer called Bris Shalom. And the Bris Shalom wants to explain this medrash to say that we find that there's a difference between the Par Kohen Mashiach and the Par Helam Davar Shel Tzibur. There's two times when there's a special par, a korban chatas of a par. If the Kohen Gadol does a sin, he has to bring a par. If the Tzibur, led by Sanhedrin, does a sin, they also have to bring a par. But there's a difference in the phrasing. By the par, the Kohen Mashiach, it says you bring in El Panei Parochas HaKodesh, whereas by the Par Helam Davar Shel Tzibur of Klal Yisrael, it says El Panei HaParochas. It doesn't say the word Kodesh. So, says the Gemara in Zvachim, what's that mean? It's like a country that rebelled against the king. If a small amount rebelled, so the kingship can continue running. But if most of them rebelled, so then everything has to be restarted. The king has to take over and deal with it. So that's exactly what Aaron's doing. Aaron knows this rule, so he says if he lets them make it, he's afraid there'll be a greater sin, Klal Yisrael sinning. Whereas if he as an individual leads the way by putting the gold in the fire, so then it's his sin as it were, and it's as it were, less people sinning because he's the one doing it, he's making it that he's involved, and therefore there's, as it were, less people sinning because he has some leadership role in this. So therefore, he wants to be involved with the sin to make it better for Kodesh Baruch Hu that most people are not involved in sin. That's why he's willing to take this role. So he's really doing Mesiras Nefesh. He's sacrificing himself because of the holiness of Hashem. He wants that the Shem Hashem should be respected, and the way it should be respected is that only one person sins, he himself, and not the Rov, not most of Klal Yisrael. So Hashem recognizes this is the intention of Aaron. So since it's the intention of Aaron is for Hashem's honor, so Midah Keneged Midah, person gets the way he acts. So therefore, that's why Aaron becomes more Kodesh. Aaron becomes the Kohen Gadol, and he has this level of Kedusha because he cared about the Kedusha of Kodesh Baruch Hu, so he leads the way with Kedusha. Till now, it's from the Bris Shalom. The Rebbe, the Yismach Moshe, wants to take this one step further. So therefore, it comes out that the Tumah, the result of the Egel Azav, was going to happen anyway, even without Aaron. Aaron, what he's doing is just changing who's involved. Is most people involved or just him accepting a leadership role? And it turns out then that because he's the one to accept this leadership role, because he makes it that it's a sin, not a majority, so therefore the Tara comes out. There's going to be an escape path. There's going to be a paraduma, which is the role of Aaron, the Kohanim, to process this paraduma. And this is what it should be. Since he cares about the Shekhinah, he cares about the divine honor, so he's the one who's to make it that there is more divine honor. And this is his job as a Kohen then to process this. So this would not be the case. So now we can understand the Medrash that describes that this, the Medrash describes about paraduma, it says, Tavo imo lekaneach. What happens if there's a child? What happens if there's a slave lady that has a child, little child, and she's, let's say, a cook for the king, and her child makes a mess somehow. He's playing with mud, makes a mess. So obviously it's the mother's job to clean up the mess. She has to clean up, she's allowed to be in the palace, she has a job there, and she cleans up the mess. So that's what paraduma is. Paraduma, para is like the mother cow, and the paraduma comes to mechaper on the egel, the child, the golden calf that was the sin. That's what the Medrash says. Now, it has to be that it's justified for the mother to be there. It has to be that it's happening in the palace of the king. If it's not the palace of the king, so what's the mother doing? Well, why is the child over there? So the tara that comes from paraduma is dafka. It's because Aaron cares enough to make it that there's kedusha. Aaron makes it there's going to be a Beis HaMikdash. Aaron makes it that there's going to be honor for the king. So therefore, that creates that it's worthy Klal Yisrael now. They're like the lady with the job that's there in the palace of the king. And so therefore, the lady can come clean. The Tara comes due to Aaron, not the Tumah, only the Tara. So therefore, we find that the Tara of Paraduma is the result of Aaron caring, Aaron stepping forward. And so that's why Aaron's the object of this discussion about Paraduma. And the Torah starts out, Hashem speaks to Moshe and to Aaron. Aaron's not a partner, rather he's the object, the one being discussed, because Aaron had a special role to make it that Kadosh Baruch Hu continues to be with Klal Yisrael, and his special role makes it that there should be Tara, and now that we understand that there should be Tara, so it's all due to Aaron the Tara.